So hi everyone, welcome to Concept Craft. This is me Pratish Kumar Kar. This is a new channel and this channel will provide you with 100% of guaranteed quality education of each and every topic of your class 10. So students of class 9 who have just passed to class 10, for them I am launching videos on each and every lesson of every chapter, that is English, Hindi, Math, Science, Social, and today we are starting with class 10 science, and that too the first lesson of chemistry and the textbook, that is chemical reactions and equations. One of the most important chapters and one of the most basic chapter. Everybody thinks that it is easy, like we can easily handle it, we can easily manage it, but some questions are there which are very tricky. They will get confused by that how we can manage it. Sometimes in board the question comes which they will just mind goes blank. So in this video we'll discuss it very crystally, very clearly, that what is the actual lesson of chemical reactions and equations. And in the upcoming videos I will be discussing with you the important questions which have been repeated in the board exam, and that too the important questions which have the chances of getting repeated in the next means upcoming board exam for you. So let's get started with today's lecture. If you have any doubt in any of the topic, just comment with the time lapse. You can just comment in the comment box so that I will clarify your doubt then and there itself. So let's get started with the first topic of the chemical reactions and equations. This is a very basic topic. You would have studied it in the means like previous classes, but we have to revise everything as it is most important. That basics makes a man perfect. So basics everybody knows it, but sometimes everybody makes error in this basical things. So let us start with the first topic, that is changes and its types. So what does a change means? Change means, as I've written here in Hindi, badalav means the changes which takes place around us. Change is a basic thing you would have used in English. So the changes means like you are growing, car is moving, ice is melting, water is getting evaporated. So many things are there. They are called changes because something different, unique is taking place around us. So that is called changes. So in that also there are two types of changes. What are those? One is the physical change and second one is the chemical change. Both everything you have been knowing this, you will be like starting. I repeat that I not repeat, I'm saying that every time in the every lecture, the starting 5 to 10 minutes will be boring because you would be like, yeah, we have learned this topic and why are repeating it. But this is like quick revision, which would helps you to grasp the concept easily. So this will be like the basic boring thing. But after that, when you will just go with me, you will be like, yeah, it is very interesting. Yeah, it's something unique. You'll feel now starting 2 3 minutes will be a little boring. So please cooperate. So if we go on the next topic, we have learned about types of changes. First is physical change. Physical change, as everybody knows, that there is no new substance formed. Okay, means like the old substance, that is the original person, that original substance will be there. Whether the state may be changed, but the substance will be same. It is reversible. Means the substance which you have transformed again, it can be achieved back by the some of the some method. An example is melting of wax, melting of ice. If we take the example of melting of ice or melting of wax also, so prominently if you take ice you can better explain it easily. So what is melting of ice? Everybody just comment about it. So what does happen is ice is a solid state. When we melt it, it become liquid, that is water, and when we still more heat it, it will become vapor and it will get evaporated. In the three state, you could observe that the water is a prominent thing, and that gas, that steam, and we can reverse it. Means we can bring the original ice back. How? That if that water vapors, if you catch it in a vessel or something, then we'll get the water droplets. And when that water droplets, if you freeze it, you will get the ice. The original thing is received back. So this is a physical change, means physical state will change. As the name suggests, physical change means only physical things will change. Chemical properties doesn't change. Okay. So next comes is chemical change. So what is chemical changes? As the name suggests, chemical. The changes which occurs chemically in the chemical properties, the changes which occurs is called chemical change. So as the definition suggests, formation of new substance will take place, and that is the new substance will take formation. Like sometimes you have noticed that the your mother will be saying that the milk has turned sour, that souring of milk has taken place. What is that? Means the milk becomes curd, that is called souring of milk. It is a chemical change because milk's chemical property is being changed. What milk was little sweet in taste, but curd is sour in taste, and milk will be like smells good, but it will have a like some smell. Milk will be having lactose sugar, but so curd will be having lactic acid. So these are all some chemical changes which occurs in the milk. So this is a type of chemical change. It is irreversible. Now, if we take the same example that the milk which has been sold means that is the milk which has been turned into curd. Now, if you see that the curd cannot be like reversed, or cannot be done anything to receive the milk back again, because there can be nothing. Have you ever brought milk back from curd? No, right? Because it's impossible. It cannot be reversed, so it is irreversible. Example is soaring of milk, rusting of iron. Even you would have noticed a rust, a brown color substance which would be on your iron objects in the home appliances or something. This is because the iron gets rushed because of the some reactions you'll study in the last topic of this lesson. But this is also a chemical change. Now let's move on to the top lessons main topic. As you have noticed the lesson's name, chemical reactions and equations. So in that the first topic, chemical reactions, that we would be studying now detailedly. So before chemical reactions, we would be studying some of the important terms. Now in your screen, you would be noticing two words, reactants and products. What are those? You would be confused, right? So let me explain it. Reactants are substances that combine. What does it mean? It means that in a reaction, chemical reaction, the substances which combine together to form a reaction is called reactants. As the name suggests, reactants react. They react with each other to form like a new substance, and that causes a chemical reaction. Products, when the reactants react together, they form something. That something is called as product. Products are the new substances that will be formed by combining the reactants. Yeah, as the definition suggests, by combining the reactants, the new substance that will be obtained is called products. So reactants and products together form the chemical reaction. It is written here definition. As an example, Zn plus H2SO4 gives us to ZnSO4 plus H2. It is a chemical reaction. Now, characteristics of chemical reaction. Now, how can we judge that a chemical reaction has taken place? Like whenever you have seen any court matter or anything in movies, and if you would have seen, they'll ask first thing. The judge will ask the first thing. What is the proof that he is accused or he is a criminal? He is guilty. What is the proof? That proof, they provide the proof, and they will accuse him that he has done a theft or he has done any crime. Similarly, these are some there are some proofs to show that chemical reaction has taken place, and that they are called as characteristics of chemical reactions. So what are the characteristics of chemical reaction? First thing is evolution of gas. The gas will be evolved in the chemical reaction. Next is formation of precipitate. Precipitate means, I'll say your definition. Precipitate is a insoluble solid substance which will be formed when the chemical reaction has taken place, and it mostly occurs in double displacement reaction. I will explain you what is double displacement reaction in further slides. So just remember, it is an insoluble solid substance formed when the chemical reaction takes place. Next is change in colors. Sometimes the color changes takes place. I think so. You would be remembering the copper sulfate plus iron reaction, where we would drop a iron nail into the blue copper sulfate solution, then the color will change. That is a change in color. Next goes in change in temperature. Sometimes the temperature will rise, or sometimes the temperature will drop down due to the chemical reaction. And last but not the least, change in state. Sometimes when a chemical reaction takes place, the state of matter gets changed. Sometimes it gets solid, sometimes gas will be formed, etc. These are the proofs of chemical reaction. I hope everything is clear till here. These and all are just first topic, chemical reaction, which has been explained in detail. Let me summarize it again. If we come to the what is a chemical reaction? So chemical reaction is chemical reactions is formed by reactants and products, where they both combine to form a chemical reaction. And reactants are the substance which react to form a new substance. Products are the substance which formed after the reactants react together, and a chemical reaction is formed when these reactants and products together work. So, example is Zn plus H2SO4, ZnSO4 plus H2. Characteristics of chemical reactions is evolution of gas, formation of precipitate, change in color, change in temperature, and last but not the least, change in state. I hope everything is clear till here, no doubt. If you have any doubt, just comment below. Okay. Now let's go to chemical equation. So what is chemical equation? Before this, the lesson name, chemical reaction and equation. So in the first topic, chemical reaction has been totally done. If you have any doubt, you can just comment. Now let us move to the second topic, that is chemical equation. Now what is chemical equation? Basically simple, don't need to just break your head or beat around the bush whenever they ask the explanation. Simply write The way of representing chemical reaction with the help of symbols and formulae. Using symbols and formulae, the representation of chemical reaction is called chemical equation. Means like simple, the chemical reaction will be, no, if you take the example of burning of magnesium ribbon, what is a reaction? Magnesium plus oxygen gives us magnesium oxide. This much big if you write, then first of all your energy loss will take place, second time loss will take place, and third the person who will be seeing the paper, he will also feel little difficulty. But if you're writing short form like 2 mg plus O2 gives us to mgo, he will be like, yeah, it's easy, it's like something like interesting. He will be means like happy to see it. Means chemical equation is something like which makes easier to write and read. Yeah, it's a little bit confusing that which compound name, like element name is what compound name you have to by heart. But it is an easier method to represent a chemical reaction rather than wasting our energy behind writing this much long. So this is chemical equation. Definition is a way of representing chemical reaction with the help of symbols and formulae. So after this we will see two things to be remembered during writing a chemical equation. Like if you see in buildings, what are the things required to build a house or something? Bricks, cement, stone, chips and rods, paint, tiles, etc. So many things. So even to make a chemical equation, two things are mostly used, mostly to be remembered. That first and the most important point I would be repeating again and again. It should be balanced. Now, what is this new word for balanced? What we have to balance it using a measure? No, we have to balance, that is the total mass of reactants must be equal to the total mass of the products. Now what is this total mass of reactants and total mass of products? I hope in ninth, if you have studied it properly, then there is a law called law of conservation of mass, which states that mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. So now if you see that in a reaction, if a mass cannot be created and cannot be destroyed, then we cannot just like in a reaction we cannot create mass or we cannot destroy mass to make it balance. So we have to add mass or subtract mass. So it's to balance a reaction, we have to be like adding the mass to make it balance. Subtraction, it is not possible. We have to just be adding so that the reactants and products mass must be equal. Remember it, a equation always must be balanced to make it a proper chemical equation. Until it is not balanced, it is not a proper equation. There is a high risk chance that the evaluator or a teacher who is correcting the paper may cut the marks. So this must be careful. Second point is similar to the first one, that is total number of atoms of each element on the left side must be equal to the total atoms of present on the right side. What does this mean? Simple. Total mass of reactants must be equal to the total mass of products. That is total number of atoms of the reactants must be equal to the total number of atoms on the products. Simple. Now, if we take the example, you can see that Mg plus O2 gives to MgO. This is actual equation, but we have added 2 in front of Mg and 2 in front of MgO. Why? Just to balance, because if you see oxygen is here twice. In on the reactant side, oxygen is 2, means that is oxygen atom is 2 here, but here if you see oxygen has only one atom. So to balance it, we have just added here 2 to multiply it. Now I'll teach you how to balance simple methods. We have added here 2 to balance it, but now Mg is also is got getting 2 atoms. How to balance this? So we have added 2 in front of Mg in on the reactant side so that the equation is balanced. Simple chemical equation. Again, I'm summarizing. The way of representing chemical reaction with the help of symbols and formulae is called chemical equation. Most important things to be remembered, that is the total mass of reactants must be equal to the total mass of products in the chemical equation. The chemical equation must be balanced. Remember it. I'm repeating it again and again. Remember it. Steps to balance chemical equation. Now we have learned that balancing is important, but the main question comes to your mind is how to balance the equation. We don't know how to balance. So simple method will teach you how to balance. First thing is on your paper, when you see a question paper, any question, first you will see the question, you will see the equation. Simply don't think anything, write the equation, write the skeletal equation. Skeletal equation is also called as unbalanced equation. Write it, unbalanced equation. Now down below it, draw a table, and in the table you just list some atoms of each element on both the side of the equation. Like on the reactant side, atom of each element, like in the equation there is iron, copper and hydrogen. Three names are there. List the three like elements and how many atoms are there, you just list it on reactant side also and product side also. After that, start balancing one element at a time. Like prefer metal first, that is my preference, your wish, whatever it is. Like you can balance one element at a time, never balance all the elements at a time. If you balance, then there will be problem for you, that you can make errors. So start balancing one element at a time. So like if you start with iron, then first you balance iron on the reactant side also, product side also, then move to oxygen, then move to carbon, like that. Most important thing while balancing, like if you are adding the numbers, adjust coefficient number before formula. What are coefficients? In maths you would have studied coefficients are the number before variable. So here coefficients are number before formulas. Like before C, some we will be adding 2C, 2H, like that. So coefficients we must add, not the subscript. Before this word I will explain you what is a subscript and superscript. In a if you see what to take example, yeah, 2 square. In the 2 square, the square which you have written up, the number which is written up is called superscript, and the number which is written below is called subscript. Now, if you take the example here down, you have to see H2. That H2 is in the 2 is subscript. And if you are writing the 2 similarly up, H square, if you are writing the 2, if you are writing up, then it is superscript. Simple. Like super means up and subscript means down. Sub means down. Simple. Super means up, sub means down. Super means what? Every time it will be like good, better, so it will be up. So super means up and subscript means down. Simple. And in chemical reactions, mostly we don't use this superscript. Well, the subscripts are there, but while balancing we should not touch the subscript. There is no work of subscript in while balancing. Subscript is happy with his own life. We have to just adjust the coefficients, like we have to add the coefficient before the elements, like in front of h2 we will add 2. That's it. We will not do anything with that subscript. Remember this. Balance hydrogen and oxygen at last. This is my suggestion. If you wish, you can balance it first itself, but there are little chances of error. Then lastly, this is most important. Check atoms again on both the sides to ensure they are equal. We have to check it so that they must be equal, or else if there is an error, then you will lose the mark. Last but not the least, simplify the coefficient if possible. Okay, simplify means that to the smallest whole numbers, we have to just cut it down so that we will get our smallest whole number. This is not suggested. Now I'll repeat it again. Write an unbalanced equation, list the number of atoms. Now start balance one element at a time. Again I'm repeating, don't touch the subscript. The down numbers which are written in each element, don't touch that thing. We have to play only with the coefficients. Only the coefficients must be adjusted where the 2, 3, 5, 7. That numbers which are must be added before the element, not in the subscript. The below numbers must not be touched. I'm repeating it again. Then my suggestion is balance the hydrogen and oxygen at last, and lastly check the atoms. So these are the steps to balance chemical equation. Now if we see the example of H2O, that means the formation of water, H2 plus O2 gives to H2O. You can see here on the reactant side, hydrogen has 2 atoms, oxygen has 2 atoms. But here water, in that water, hydrogen has 2 atoms, but oxygen has 1 atoms. So this is like inequality. So what happens is oxygen demands that I also need 2 items. So what we do is we just multiply 2 in before, in the reactant side. In the product side we multiply 2. So when we multiply 2, what happens is oxygen will get its 2 atoms, but the problem is hydrogen will have 4 atoms. Now this again becomes inequality, that on the product side the mass is more, like atoms are more, and the reactant side it is less. So what happens is we multiply 2. Again see here we are just playing with the coefficients, we are not touching the subscripts and all. So we will write the 2 here, and that's it. The end we complete the balance. This is the easiest balancing. Sometimes difficult balancings also they give, we have to just focus on it. Some examples of balanced chemical equation. These are things you can just read it out, like how to balance the equations. Next is if I read it out, 2H2 plus O2, 2H2 formation of water, N2 plus 3H2, 2NH3 formation of ammonia, 2Mg plus O2, 2MgO, magnesium reacts with oxygen, like this. And if you have any, now we have studied about chemical equation and balancing of chemical equation. If you have any doubt, just comment below, I will clear it out. Everything sorted. Now let's move to the next type of equation, that is types of chemical reactions, the most important topic. I repeat again, from this topic questions comes in exam, and specifically if I say decomposition reaction, the second topic of the type of chemical reaction subtopic, from that the question comes. And more specifically if I explain decomposition reaction, in under that one more subtopic is there, that photochemical decomposition reaction, and from that topic case based study question is coming, and it will be coming in every exam, I am sure about it. So please focus. Now combination reaction, simple definition, no need to eat head. Single product is formed from 2 or more reactants, simple. And single product is formed from 2 or more reactants. What is this? I did not understand. Yeah, I will explain you. Two or more reactants are there. They will react to form of single product. That's it is combination reaction. Combination means combine. The things which combine to form a single product is called combination reaction. For example, A and B are two friends. They have the same thinking, say equal in studies, everything is good. They will be like happily they will be staying. One day they will happen what something like in the name of notes or in the play name of games or something. They will get a little closer and they'll become best friends. A plus B is E. They will become best friends. Example, if you take C plus O to CO2, so it is a combination reaction. Some more examples, if you see 2H2 plus O2, 2H2O, CaO plus H2O, CaOH twice, 2Mg plus O2, 2MgO, N2 plus CH2, N2NH3, C plus O2, CO2. These are examples of combination reaction. If you know, I request everybody to please comment any two combination reactions, okay, in the comment section. Now next move to the second type of reaction, decomposition reaction. Most important, I again repeat that this question will come in your upcoming board exam and that too specifically photochemical decomposition reaction will come. Remember it. Simple. You have learned about combination reaction. The opposite of combination reaction is the decomposition reaction. Simple. What happens is, I'll just read the definition. Formation of two or more simpler products takes place from the breakdown of single reactant. What does this mean? This means that two or more simpler substances will be formed from the breakdowns of single reactant. If I take the example of same two friends AB, now everybody knows that 28th March IPL starts, and even you can comment also which is your favorite team of IPL. Okay, so 28th March the IPL starts. Now what happens is they both are supporters of different teams. A is supporter of RCB, B is supporter of CSK. So what happens? They both when they listen about IPL, they both will have the separate team support. Then their fight start that RCB is better. He will start the B will say that CSK is better. Then the fight starts and they both will get separated. That's it. The like AB gets separated into A plus B. That is decomposition reaction. I am giving the example of IPL and friends because it is relatable. You can relate it easily. So I am giving the examples. Now, types of decomposition reaction if you take, the first type is photochemical decomposition reaction. What is this photochemical decomposition reaction? That is, the decomposition reaction which takes place in the presence of sunlight is called photochemical decomposition reaction. Simple. Means, if you see the word photo means what? Sunlight. The reaction or the decomposition reaction which takes place in the presence of sunlight is called photochemical decomposition reaction. Case based study question comes from this topic, remember, okay? So, if you take the example, the 2AgCl gives us a 2Ag plus Cl2. What is this reaction? A 2AgCl is like silver chloride. Silver chloride which is used for black and white photography. Case based study questions are there. I will explain. So silver chloride is a top compound. When we expose it into sunlight, then we get two topics. That is, one is silver and one is chlorine. The two compounds we get, and the two compounds causes are because of the photochemical decomposition reaction. First type. Second is thermal decomposition reaction. If we check on the words, thermal means heat. And the decomposition reaction which takes place in the presence of heat is called thermal decomposition reaction. Simple. If we understand the meaning of the words, then it will be easy to like explain the definition. You can write it in your own words itself. So example, if you say CaCO3 gives us a CaO plus CO2. That's it. Is the thermal decomposition reaction. Due to heat, the decomposition reaction is called photochemical thermal decomposition reaction. Last but not the least, electrolytic decomposition reaction. The decomposition reaction which takes place when an electricity is passed through them is called electrolytic decomposition reaction. So simple again words, if you see the decomposition reaction in which electricity is passed and substance get decomposed, that is, it is separated, so it is called photochemical electrolytic decomposition reaction. By repeating again and again photochemical decomposition reaction, the word again is coming from my mouth. I am sorry for this inconvenience. So electrolytic decomposition reaction. It is because when the electricity is passed through the substance. For example, 2H2O gives us a 2H2 plus O2 when electricity is passed through it. So these are the three types of decomposition reaction. Combination reaction, it gets combined. Decomposition reaction, reactants get breakdown. Now comes this third type of chemical reaction, that is displacement reaction. What is this displacement reaction? Let's read the definition. After that I will explain. More reactive element displaces the less reactive element from the solid solution. What is this more reactive element, less reactive element? We will study more about the reactivity series in the lesson metals and non-metals. But for now, understand that Dominating element will remove the like less power element and will take its place. Simple. Now what happens is, now before IPL dates announced, A and B were friends. What happens is, A will be like interested in study, but he cannot study because of B, because B is like demotivating him, saying that what we will do by studying, you will just get a normal job. So A is not able to study, but C is a topper student. He wants to befriend with C. So one day what happened there, due to the IPL fight also, what happens is A and B both get separated, and what happens is A goes and makes friends with C. A and C becomes friends and they will rise because of studies, and B will be alone. He can't do anything. He will be alone and cannot do anything. He will just study little down. But A, after studying good, he will become top. He will become more powerful. So this is displacement reaction. Like simple, one substance will be there when element comes and reacts with them high reactive element. It will displace the low reactive B. Like B is a low reactive because it is less good in studies, but C is more good in studies. It will remove the B and C will take its place. That's it. Is the displacement reaction. Some examples of displacement reaction is zinc plus HCl gives us to zinc chloride plus hydrogen, Fe plus USO4, FeSO4 plus Cu plus 2AgNO3, CuNO3 plus 2Ag. In these examples, notice that first example, if we take zinc plus HCl gives us to ZnCl2 plus H2. Here what happens is zinc when reacts with hydrochloric acid, it removes the hydrogen and takes the place. So here the more reactive is zinc and the less reactive is hydrogen. So only it gets displaced. Displaced means simple. If you see the word displaced, it is removed. Displaced takes the place. So the displacement reaction is like this. So I request you to please comment that other reactions in that other reactions like next remaining four reactions, which is a more reactive element and which is a less reactive element. So if we move towards the next reaction, these are very favorite my favorite topic. But the thing is, CBSE doesn't ask that much questions on this topic. But our thing is we have to goal is to prepare everything. Double displacement reaction. What is this? Mutual exchange of ions takes place during the chemical reaction. Did not understand anything. I know that. So what happens is the exchange of both things takes place. Now what happens again? 28th March, IPL is coming. So what happens is ABCD. AB is a group of friends, CD is group of friends. But here problem what comes is A is a supporter of RCB, B is supporter of CSK, C is supporter of RCB, D is a supporter of CSK. Here what happens is when IPL comes, again fight started. Fight started, what happened is AB got separated, CD got separated. What happens is one day A was like, one day not, that same day itself, A and C talks to each other and they come to know that they both are the supporter of RCB. So they become friends. B and D talks and they come to know that they both are the supporter of CSK. They both get friends. So what happens is due to the different thinking, they both get separated. And AC have the same thing that they support RCB. They get like they become friends. B and D also get friends because they are the supporter of CSK. That's it. That is the concept of double displacement reaction. So some examples of double displacement reaction if it take place. So Na2SO4 plus BaCl2 BaSO4 plus 2NaCl, AgNO3 plus NaCl, AgCl plus NaO3. You can see Na2SO4 BaCl2. We see that Ba gets separated from Cl2 and gets added to Na2SO4. He will remove the Na2SO4 and take its place. Na2SO4 will go to Cl2. Will become. It gets changed. Double displacement. Two times displacement takes place is called double displacement reaction. Now we come to the last and the most important topic, redox reaction. What is a redox reaction? Redox reaction simple. Nothing is the thing in it. The reduction in which oxidation and reduction both process occur simultaneously is called redox reaction. It is a type of reaction in which oxidation and reduction both things occur simultaneously. What is oxidation? What is reduction? Simple. In a process where oxygen is gained and hydrogen is removed is called oxidation. Simple. Don't need to like beat your head or go around the bush. Gain of oxygen, removal of hydrogen. Both things, if in the two any one thing happens, then it is oxidation. Reduction, the opposite. Loss of oxygen, gain of hydrogen. Oxidation, gain of oxygen, loss of hydrogen. Reduction, loss of oxygen, gain of hydrogen. And when this both oxidation and reduction both process occur simultaneously, then it is called redox reaction. Simple. Now let us move to types of chemical reactions. What are these types of chemical reactions? So if you take the first thing, Right, no, in the types of sorry for the error. What is the types of in the type of chemical reaction, redox reaction? A most important topic. Now we have to study about the oxidation reduction. The substance in which oxygen is added is called as oxidized substance, and the substance in which the oxygen is removed is called reduced substance. So when a substance is oxidized, that substance is called reducing agent. Opposite. I think everybody would have seen that Akshay Kumar, that meme when he very just slaps his finger and things get exchanged. So similarly, oxidized is reducing agent, reduced is oxidizing agent. The substance which gets oxidized is called reducing agent. The substance in which oxygen is added, that is called reducing agent, and the substance in which oxygen is removed, that is reduced, is called oxidizing agent. Simple. Now you can see here copper oxide is reduced in hydrogen oxide in the reaction CuO plus H2, which is Cu plus H2. If you see this, copper oxide becomes copper, means it is getting reduced, and copper oxide is the oxidizing agent, and hydrogen is becoming water, means oxygen is added, so it is reducing agent. Simple. That's it. There is no need to get confused. And question comes from here in MCQs. Be careful. And the remaining equations, I just request you to please comment it, which is the oxidizing agent and which is the reducing agent. Now let's move to the last topic of this lesson, corrosion and rancidity. So what is corrosion? Corrosion is a process where the metals get deteriorated by the action of air, water, moisture, etc. This is very little complicated. So simple if I explain, the destruction of metal by using air, water, moisture is called corrosion. Means like you would have noticed the rust which occurs on the iron, right? That is called corrosion. Simple. Means not only iron, even you would have noticed that after if you have noticed your mother's anklets, then sometimes you would have seen that after 2 3 years there is a black color something which comes on it. That is a corrosion of silver. We'll study in metal and non-metal lesson what is the corrosion of silver and corrosion of copper called. But for now, remember, corrosion is the process where the metal get destroyed by the action of air, water, moisture, etc. Now, corrosion then rancidity. What is this rancidity? The process where the oily foods gets oxidized and they destroy the food items. That is, the oily food items, right? They get oxidized because now if you would have seen your mother have made a oily pakoras or any oily food item or any curry or anything. She kept today, did not kept in refrigerator, kept today, and tomorrow night, to today morning she have made, and tomorrow night if you have smelled it, you will you will get something a different awkward smell, and you will like no, I am not interested to eat this. Why? Because the food is rancid, because of the action of oxygen from the atmosphere, the food items get destroyed totally, and this causes the food item that gets rancid, and it is also very harmful to eat as it causes food poisoning. Now if we move to next thing, we have seen the problem. Now we have to focus on solution. So what is the solution for corrosion is, first thing is painting. We have to paint the metal surface with a layer of like paint or something, so that the air and moisture is prevented from reaching to that metal surface. Next process is oiling and greasing. Same, it forms a layer. When we oil and grease it, it prevents the water and oxygen to reach it. Galvanization, simple, to coat the iron with a layer of zinc to protect it from rusting. Electroplating, there is a thin layer of another metal like chromium or nickel is deposited. Same, everything is like forming a surface on the on the objects to prevent corrosion. Alloying and cathodic protection, we will learn it in the metals and non-metals lesson. I hope everybody understood the steps to prevent corrosion. One is painting, one is oiling and greasing, galvanizing, electroplating, alloying. You would just study these ones. I will pin the notes in the description. You can read it. Now next is steps to prevent rancidity. What is rancidity? I will just study about rancidity. Now what is the solution to prevent rancidity? Use of antioxidants. Don't need to remember these words, that is butylated hydroxytoluene and butylated hydroxynisole. No, don't need to remember. Simple, use of anti substances which are added to slow down the oxidation of oils and fats. Simple. Don't need to eat your head with that much complicated names. So with the substances in which are used to prevent the rancidity are called antioxidants. Using of airtight containers so that the oxygen is prevented to reach, and food oil and fats are stored for very long time. Third one is refrigeration, keeping the food in fridge. Most of the people do that so that the food can be stored for a long time. Next is packing with nitrogen gas. Remember guys, the chips which you eat, that is not the actual quantity. 75% will be nitrogen and 25% will be the chips, because the chips must be kept fresh, and nitrogen gas is the gas which prevents oxidation. And these are the some process which are used to prevent rancidity. So using of antioxidants, airtight container, refrigeration, packing with nitrogen gas, this prevents the food from rancidity. So guys, thank you so much. for this support and listening patiently for this much time. I hope chemical reactions and equations, the lesson, first lesson and the basic lesson is, I hope, clear for everybody. If there is any doubt to anybody about this lesson, they can just comment it so that I will clear your doubt. Meet you all in next video with some important questions of this lesson that I will bring from boards question papers, and even some sample question papers. I will bring the questions which are from this lesson most important and which have a most chances of repeating. That questions I will bring and I will present in front of you. Till then, stay safe, stay smiling. Thank you so much. Meet you all in next video. Till then, bye. Thank you.